Hey there, I'm Frank Mitchell. On this channel, it's all about helping you understand your car and keeping it running the way it should. Whether it's routine maintenance or solving those tricky problems, I've got you covered. If you find this useful, give the video a like, hit that subscribe button, and be sure to watch till the end. You might learn something that saves you time and money. All right, let's get started.
The Dacia Jogger and the Dacia Duster are two cars manufactured by Dacia, a low-cost brand of Romanian origin that belongs to the Renault Group. In fact, it uses its most proven technologies in its models. Both products can be considered substitutes, as they have a high degree of versatility and efficiency among their best assets, but they do not compete in the same market segment, so they are not positioned in the same way. In this article we analyze their differences so that you can more easily decide which one to buy. Both the Jogger and the Duster are two mid-sized vehicles, the former being more modern than the latter and therefore more technologically advanced in some respects. The Jogger, which is more family-oriented, is a relatively spacious car built on the CMFB platform that is also used in other products of the firm such as the current Dacia Sandero and Dacia Logan. It was launched as an unnatural successor to the Dacia Logi in 2021 and, like that one, can feature up to 7 seats. Dacia Jogger Dacia Duster. For its part, the Duster, whose commercial proposal is to offer a compact SUV as cheap as possible, is based on the B0 architecture which, unlike its rival in this comparison, does not allow the development of hybrid versions or the installation of a third row of seats, maximum 5 seats. On the other hand, it can have all-wheel drive, which the Jogger does not. The version of this model sold today is an update of its second generation, introduced in 2022. However, it is still the evolution of an SUV developed more than a decade ago, which works against it. Exterior dimensions. The Dacia Jogger measures 4.55 meters long, 1.78 wide and 1.63 high with a wheelbase of 2.90 meters, while the Dacia Duster measures 4.34 meters long, 1.80 wide and 1.69 high with a wheelbase of 2.67 meters. In other words, the Jogger is 21 centimeters longer, 2 centimeters narrower and 4 centimeters lower than the Duster. In addition, its longer wheelbase translates into a more spacious cabin than the SUV, which is why it can opt for an interior configuration of 7 seats, 2 plus 3 plus 2. Although the overall height of the Duster is greater, so is the distance between its body and the ground, so that the interior height of the cabin is not necessarily better than that of the Jogger. In exchange, this allows driving off-road with more guarantees because it is less likely to rub the underbody and allows to equip a differential and a transfer bar to have all-wheel drive. Moreover, in its 4x4 versions, the Duster performs particularly well on rough terrain. Measures Dacia Jogger Dacia Duster length, 4.547 4.341 width, 1.784 1.804 height, 1.632 1.693. Wheelbase, 2.897 2.673 ground clearance, 195 217 front track width, 1.520 1.563 rear track width, 1.509 1.570 turning diameter, 11 710 7 Dacia Jogger Dacia Duster. Interior dimensions and habitability. The interior of the Dacia Jogger is, in general terms, more voluminous than that of the Dacia Duster. There are many divergences in the dimensions of the cabin and trunk that mean a considerably more spacious, not more comfortable, user experience in the family trim model than in the SUV type. In the first row of seats there are hardly any differences, as the length is identical and the height to the ceiling is 2 centimeters more in favor of the Jogger. However, the width of the passenger compartment of this model in the front seats is 8 centimeters less than that of the Duster, with no noticeable changes in the rear. The height at the rear is the same for both cars. Despite being narrower in the front, the Jogger gives the possibility of sacrificing part of its large trunk, which we detail in the next section, to offer a third row of seats with 2 additional seats that can be folded and unfolded according to transport needs. The Duster is only eligible for 5 regular ones. Trunk. The minimum trunk capacity ranges from 160 to 708 liters in the Jogger and from 411 to 445 liters in the Duster. The smaller size for the first model corresponds to an interior configuration of 7 seats in which all seats are used, while the larger one belongs to a version with only 5 seats. If you want to make use of the same number of seats in a 7-seat version, the capacity is reduced to 565 liters, which is still a lot. This is due to the space occupied by the structure of the third row, 2 extra seats. As for the Duster, the all-wheel drive versions have a slightly smaller volume, 34 liters less, to house the rear differential and other elements that allow the transmission to this axle and drive on the rear wheels, not just the front. By folding down all the backrests except for the 2 main seats, luggage space can be up to 1,819 liters in the Jogger and a maximum of 1,478 in the Duster. Unless the 7 seats are deployed in the versions where so many are available, the trunk of the Jogger will always be deeper, wider, and higher than the Duster, and also place the load inside will mean less effort, because its edge is lower in the family than in the SUV. Measures Dacia Jogger Dacia Duster minimum trunk, L, 160 to 708 411 to 445 maximum trunk, L, 1.819 1.478 trunk Dacia Jogger trunk. Dacia Duster engine and performance. Dacia Jogger and Dacia Duster share only one engine, called TCE-ECOG. Being bifuel, it can be powered independently by gasoline or LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, which gives it the ECO label of the DGT. The range of the first vehicle includes a non-plug-in hybrid propulsion system, HEV, from the beginning of 2023 that also carries the ECO label and is not and will not be available on the second car. In exchange, the latter can be equipped with a diesel engine. The Jogger currently has 2 powertrain options and 3 power levels. The entry-level engine is 3-cylinder, turbocharged, has 1.0-liter displacement and delivers 100 or 110 horsepower of maximum power. Depending on whether it can run on 2 types of fuel or only on gasoline, see label. Above this is the hybrid version, which is composed of a 90 horsepower 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated gasoline engine and 2 electric engines, one of which is responsible for emission-free propulsion, 50 horsepower, and the other for generating electric current to support certain auxiliary elements, 20 horsepower. Operating at the same time, they can develop a peak of 140 horsepower. In any case, the traction is front-wheel drive and 6-speed manual transmission, except in the HEV system, which is automatic. Its mechanism offers almost infinite ratios. The Duster, meanwhile, presents the least powerful option available on the Jogger, TCE-ECOG 100 horsepower, and adds a turbocharged 4-cylinder gasoline engine with 1.3 liters and 130 or 150 horsepower, label C, as well as a 4-cylinder turbo diesel with 1.5 liters and 115 horsepower, label C. Only the diesel-powered and the most powerful of the gasoline-powered models can have 4-wheel drive. And only the 150 horsepower is compulsorily associated with a 6-speed automatic transmission. In all other cases, a manual gearbox is installed, also with 6 speeds. Engine range of Dacia Jogger gasoline 1.0 TCE ECOG 100 horsepower, MAN, ECO label, acceleration from 0 to 100 km/h in 12.2 seconds. And top speed of 175 km/h. 110 horsepower 1.0 TCE gasoline, MAN, C label, acceleration from 0 to 100 km/h in 10.5 seconds and top speed of 183 km/h. 140 horsepower hybrid, AUT, ECO label, at the time of writing, acceleration and speed have not been officially declared. Dacia Duster engine range gasoline 1.0 TCE ECOG 100 horsepower, MAN, ECO label, acceleration from 0 to 100 km/h in 13.8 seconds and top speed of 168 km/h. Diesel 1.5 Blue DCI 115 horsepower, MAN, C-label, acceleration from 0 to 100 km per hour in 10.2 seconds and top speed of 183 km per hour. Gasoline 1.3 TCE 130 horsepower, MAN, C-label, acceleration from 0 to 100 km per hour in 10.6 seconds and top speed of 193 km per hour. Gasoline 1.3 TCE 150 horsepower, AUT, C-label, acceleration from 0 to 100 km per hour in 9.7 seconds and top speed of 199 km per hour. Consumption. Apart from the differences between their architecture and exterior dimensions, Jogger and Duster weigh practically the same, from 1,300 kilograms for the estate and from 1,330 kilograms for the SUV. The differences in consumption between the two cars, therefore, are given by the disparities in terms of aerodynamics. The Duster is worse, or the propulsion system and traction to be installed in each case. Broadly speaking, the Jogger will always be slightly more efficient. The fuel consumption of the Jogger ranges from 4.8 to 5.6 L/100 km, with the HEV version consuming the least and the conventional 1.0 TCE the most, while the Duster ranges from 4.8 to 6.3 L/100 km, with the diesel version consuming the least and the conventional 1.0 TCE the most. These are data obtained under WLTP procedure, so they are significantly lower than those that could be achieved during normal use. For example, for the 150 horsepower Duster, our experience with other similar cars tells us that it will be difficult to go below 7 liters in most circumstances. Equipment. The finishes of the Dacia Jogger are structured in 3 levels: Essential, Expression and Extreme Go. They are almost identical to those of the Dacia Duster, also with 3 steps: Essential, Expression and Journey Go. The naming of the last one varies because there is a special edition of the SUV in question called Extreme and would lend itself to confusion. As one moves up the range of each car, the technological endowment increases gradually through relatively open equipment packages. Some customization options are allowed. The buyer of any of these vehicles should be aware that, even at the top of the range, most of the materials and fittings used are very simple and inexpensive. Dacia makes few concessions to luxury and bets everything on practicality. Interior Dacia Jogger, Interior Dacia Duster. There are no major differences in the number of elements that can be installed in either model, as they are manufactured by the same company and, although the target customers are different, their price is similar. In combination with the basic finish, both products already have 6 airbags, ISOFIX anchorages for CRS in the rear side seats, driving aids such as automatic emergency braking and hill start assistance, tire pressure control, height and depth adjustable multifunction steering wheel, automatic engine start and stop, Bluetooth connection, for speakers, a USB-A port, etc. You can get more detailed information in our configurator. Conclusion: which one should I buy? Regarding a Jogger, the purchase of a Dacia Duster in 2023, with little more than a year left for its complete renovation, only makes sense if we like to drive in an elevated position. We need a vehicle capable of driving on fairly uneven surfaces. We want an automatic transmission without the need to purchase a hybrid car, or we have a small garage where we lack the extra inch that measures, longitudinally, the family car with which we have compared it. For the rest of the criteria we can use, it will always be better to get a Dacia Jogger. At practically the same price, it is a more modern car, somewhat more efficient, much more spacious, with better dynamic behavior, and with the same level of quality, low, but acceptable. Its trunk is the best in its category and, in this, one of the few alternatives that exists with non-plug-in hybrid propulsion system. In other words, we would not have many doubts. In conclusion, both the Dacia Jogger and the Dacia Duster offer unique advantages tailored to different needs. The Jogger stands out with its spacious interior and versatility, making it an excellent choice for families and those who require extra seating. On the other hand, the Duster impresses with its rugged design and off-road capabilities, appealing to adventure seekers and those who prioritize a more robust driving experience. Ultimately, your choice will depend on your lifestyle and preferences. Whichever model you choose, Dacia continues to deliver value and practicality in the automotive market. Thank you for watching, and we hope this comparison has helped you make an informed decision.